Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, friends, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Wayne County. I am the minister here, the Reverend Walter Clark. I'd like to welcome you to our diverse congregation who welcomes you fully as you are, regardless of your age, ethnicity, race, sexual orientation, gender identity, economic status, or abilities. We come together to seek deeper meaning and understanding from each other and the world around us. Your presence here today is a gift that brings us closer to that understanding. And we are an active community, very active, it seems, of late, that lives our values beyond those of Sunday. And I would like to call your attention to the following. Some of you knew Jim Caputo, who used to attend this fellowship. He passed away November 29th in 2020. His friends and acquaintances of Jim's are invited to attend a celebration of life memorial that is happening today from 2 to 5 at Freelander Chalet, right across from Burbank Road. I would also like to announce that we have been chosen to host OWL Junior Senior High Facilitator Training for the Central Eastern Region the weekend of September 9th, 10th, and 11th. This means that folks from congregations all over the Eastern Central region, including areas like Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and other greater Ohio area, Columbus, will be coming here to our congregation to train to be OWL facilitators. This is an opportunity to show off the new digs, folks. This is an opportunity for us to be a lead congregation in our area. And so what we need is hospitality. What we need, right, are people to serve as hospitalities for our visitors and trainers. Some people will be needed to help with meal team prep and facilities, and possibly some folks might be needed to assist with transportation. We may have people flying into Cleveland to come to this workshop, right? If you would like to be one of the gracious few to represent UUFC to the entire Unitarian Universalist Association and brag about how wonderful we are, talk to Jenny and you can be a volunteer and talk up this community. And lastly, a couple changes. Next week's service, I will not be preaching. The minister is going to be the Reverend John Coffey, a colleague of mine from Meadville, Lombard. Wendy knows John and is going like this. He is a wonderful younger minister who works at the Meadville Lombard Seminary. And he will be doing that because later on that day at 3 p.m., we are having what is called an installation service. You have recently called a minister who will now be officially installed as your minister of this congregation. There will be people from all over the UUA who will be taking part of the service. The Right Reverend Sherman Z. Logan on the UUA board will be doing the homily for that day. It will be a big celebration. There will be food, there will be frivolity, and I hope there will be you. To find out anything else about what we are doing and how you can be a part of all of the things that you can do, you can ask myself, or of course, the wonderful Karen Skubik, who will now have a time to welcome our visitors.
Good morning. It's always nice to see all your faces, or at least part of them. Thank you for the laugh. This is when we welcome anyone who has not had the opportunity to introduce themselves. We might have a couple newish faces here, and you're not required to stand up and introduce yourself, but if anybody wants to do that, we'd love to talk to you and get to know you a little better after the service. So is there anyone who's never introduced themselves who would like to do so? No? Okay. Well, we're glad you're all here, and welcome.
Let us now prepare for this hour of worship. Take a moment, silence your cell phones, or at least put them in worship mode. You're welcome to join us after service and stay for the not coffee hour. We will be serving coffee once our COVID restrictions have been lifted. But now let us prepare for our time of worship together.
Our chalice lighting this morning is adapted from the words of Elizabeth Harding. Have you ever watched a candle burn? The fire, it's alive. Watch it. It moves, it flickers, kind of dances on the wind. It changes with every breath of air. The flame doesn't blind us. It doesn't burn us. It gives us light, so we can see all of the different things in the universe, even the invisible ones. The flaming chalice is the symbol of learning and love. It's our symbol, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. So now let's rise in body or spirit as we sing our opening hymn, One More Step. And the music can be found in the gray hymnal. That's number 168. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I am Jenni Papp. I'm the Director of Religious Education in this congregation, and I have missed you all this summer, but it's been a great time to come up with some new ideas. And so this is a time in our service when we will share an activity, a story, a song, something together. So I would like to invite everyone who is interested in being a little closer to come to the front row, to come sit on the floor, to be up here with me. Please welcome. Also, I want to let you know, if you like to doodle, doodling is for all. Grab a doodle sheet. Have a seat. Wherever you want to sit. Come on up. Come on up. Are you going to doodle? Okay. For all? All right. So I have brought the Wonder Box today. Well, maybe. Right here. So I wonder, what's in it? Yeah, I know. That's why it's wonder. Any guesses? What's in it? Ball. A ball? Okay. A banana? Nothing. A piano. Ooh. Tiny piano. Anybody else?
The Magna Carta.
No. All right. Well, those are some good guesses. I appreciate your enthusiasm. So I'm going to go ahead and open it very slowly, because you don't know.
I knew I saw something there.
What do you see? Anyone? Who's brave enough to reach in and grab it?
Dog bones? Yeah.
What is that? What is that,
Dog
Hopper?
bones.
Dog bones. Show everybody. All right. Dog bones. Tiny, for a tiny little dog. But, okay.
Because today's the dog day, right?
Because today is a dog day, is what Hawthorne said, yes.
So told me about it.
Okay, see? Somebody read their newsletter. Anyway, oh yeah, Stella told you about it. That's right. Okay. So today for the next few weeks, we are going to have some opportunities to think about how we are connected to the web of life. What is the web of life? Anybody? Everything around us, I hear.
All living things are connected, I guess.
All living things are connected. Okay. As Unitarian Universalists, do you ever hear us talk about that in the web of life? We have 7 principles. One of them talks about that. Sometimes we call them promises. It's our violet promise. We value and care for the web of life that connects us to all beings, all living things. Not just beings, I guess, all living things. So we're going to think about that a little bit over the next few weeks, and we are going to focus on animals that maybe are lost or abandoned, and what can we do to help them? What do you think we could do to help them? Anybody? Go ahead, Ellie.
Give them a shelter.
Give them shelter. I'm going to move this out of my way here. Anybody else? What can we do to help lost and abandoned animals?
Find their home.
Help them find their home?
Give them some food.
Go ahead.
Give them some food.
Okay. Yeah, those are all good ideas. This week we are going to make dog biscuits when we leave here. Y'all can come if you want. And next week we're going to make kitty cat blankets. And we're going to make a poster to let everybody else here know that we are going to be collecting supplies for the animal shelter. Okay? So today's activity right here for everyone in the congregation is we are going to do a little meditation. Anybody know what meditation is? Can throw an idea. Go ahead, come on up here because I can't move as fast as you.
Be quiet and be mindful of things.
You can be quiet and be mindful of things. That's a good idea. Some people like to sit quietly when they meditate. Some people like to walk around when they meditate. Everybody can choose how they want to participate in this meditation. If you would need to move because sitting still is not your thing, go for it. We're going to think about lost animals. This is a guided meditation. So if you want to close your eyes, go ahead. You don't have to. Get comfortable. Maybe feel like you're going to need some room because you're going to try and imagine what a lost animal might be going through, okay? So take 2 long breaths. Ready? The next breath, make a little animal noise. Now do it again, a different animal noise. Okay, one more no noise. So imagine being an animal, maybe a dog or a cat who's lost. You don't know where you can find help. Maybe you're hungry or you're tired. If you're hungry and tired, you might whine a little. Then you see a friendly person across the road and you want to try and run to them. But screech! You're narrowly missed by a car. You shiver with fear. Shiver your body. You're thirsty now. You're afraid and you don't even want to move, so you just lie down under a tree. Finally, a person comes up slowly to you, talking in very soothing tones. They put a leash around your neck, and they very slowly and quietly slide you into a crate, a little animal crate. They drive you to the animal shelter where there are lots of other animals. They give you a checkup and some food and some water. It's getting better. It's better than getting hit by a car or being out in the scary wild, being alone. Make your little dog smile. You ever see a dog smile? But it's also kind of scary. It's loud here, and you're behind a wire door. Lots of barking. Lots of barking. So you take a deep breath and you just lie down in the back of your kennel. Now something is happening. There's a nice person taking animals out and comforting them with treats, even taking some of those animals for walks. You smile, your kitty cat smile at them, and then you get a treat, and they take you outside for a walk. How happy are you now? Wag your tail, maybe, or you purr. So days go by. You see some animals, nice people come in, and some of the animals leave. They go home. They get found by their family because they were lost, or they get a new forever home. Which one are you? Were you lost and found by your family? Or do you get a new family? Imagine. But how do you feel? All right. How do you feel? Let's get up. Wag our tails. And spin in a happy circle. That's what my dog does. That ends our meditation on being an animal at the shelter. I want you to think about how you feel or how you felt as that shelter animal, okay? And as we go out and think about our 7th principle and helping all of the other animals or creatures in the world, and you go to your activities, remember how your kindness and your care will be for those, will feel for those animals. Okay? Thank you, everyone, for our meditation. And we're going to sing our children out with their blessing, and the words will be on the screen. Maybe. Go ahead. Go with you, go in love, joy, our hopes go too. Learn in love and grow in wisdom. We just bless the children and their adult companions with those words as they take another step in their spiritual exploration, in their spiritual journey. All of them, the big ones and the little ones alike that left this room. But isn't that what we also hope for our companions in this room with us? And what we hope for ourselves, to learn and love and grow in wisdom? I'm pretty sure that most of you probably consider yourselves lifelong learners, taking up new skills throughout your life, maybe for fun, or to move to a different career, or improve your skills in your job. Given that I find you here at church, it might not even be a reach to expect that over the years you have delved into some religious or some spiritual teachings. And maybe you found sustenance in those, or maybe you found that there was something so unfitting for you that it helped you to kind of clarify your own beliefs. Some of you might have done this with each other, or definitely maybe in this community. This educating of the heart. This is not a place where we focus on skills to improve our game or to get us to the next level in our careers. What we're learning here together is how we can provide that healing work that the world needs. You have heard me say before, and this will not be the last time, the words from Connie Goodbread and Susan Smith that say, everything we do is faith development. All we teach is Unitarian Universalism. The congregation is the curriculum. All we do. In this system, we are all learners. We are all mentors. As we mature, we become more able to share our wisdom with those who are coming along behind us. We all bring gifts to this dance. And it can be important to remember what gifts we bring, what gifts we have to offer. Each of you, I hope, have 2 note cards and a pen. If you don't, raise your hand. One person back there. Karen will get one for you. Thank you. You only got 1 note card. That's cool. We'll work with that. Tear it in half. Or you got a front and a back. Okay, that's a good thing. So what I would like you to do for a minute or 2 is to reflect on one gift that you bring to our community as we learn and love and grow in wisdom. Write that gift, the gift that you have, down on that card. It can be 1 word, 10 words, whatever suits you. And after you write that gift down, kind of pass it to the middle, okay? Take your time. Hum if you're able.
Oh,
Music.
We got, we have some cooking over here.
Shared fellowship.
Leadership. Children.
Patience, I try.
Compassion for all creatures.
Organization.
More music.
Gardening skills.
People skills.
Humor.
Compassion.
Love.
Friendship.
Who has the positive energy? I'd like to see you. Oh, of course. Of course.
Creativity.
Interest in caring.
Listening.
Wow. That's a lot of gifts. I'm going to hang these up on the wall later because we didn't have time. We won't go through every person's in the room, but you all need to take a look at these later and see what pile of gifts we have here in this room today. That's a blessing. Thanks, everyone, for sharing. So I also know that we have quite a few professional educators as part of this fellowship, those for whom teaching is a vocation. I also know that even if we're not, we all have had opportunities to mentor or teach another person sometime in our life. I believe that we probably have all had a moment of great joy when mentoring or teaching another person at some time. Sometime when you just knew you did it really well. We've probably all had moments of despair as well. That's life, right? But what I'd like you to reflect on now, just reflect on it now because you don't have another card. So I want you to reflect on it now, a moment of joy that you had when teaching another person. I want you to think of that because we're going to have an opportunity to share that amongst each other. So we'll just take a moment. If you need to, close your eyes. So now I want to invite you, if you would like, to either find a listening partner nearby you so that you can share that joy with them, or if you don't want to talk to anybody else, that's okay. Share that experience with your listening partner. When each of you is done sharing that experience, put it up here to make it clear. I want the person who was listening to say in a word or two, what gift did they hear come out of that joy that person shared in that joyful experience? Does that make sense? Everybody? May it be so. Find a partner. When I ring the chime, that'll mean you'll have a little bit of time to wind up, okay? Thank you for sharing. And I hope if there's more to share or someone else you'd like to talk to about this, after the service, just ask. I'd like to close my reflection, my thoughts here, with these words from Parker Palmer. Looking back, I realized that I was blessed with mentors at every crucial stage of my young life, at every point where my identity needed to grow, in adolescence, in college, in graduate school, and early in my professional career. But a funny thing happened on the way to full adulthood. The mentors stopped coming. For several years, I waited for the next one in vain, and for several years, my own growth was on hold. Then I realized what was happening. I was no longer an apprentice. It was my turn to become a mentor to someone else. I needed to turn around and look for the new life emerging behind me, to offer to younger people the gift that had been given to me when I was younger. As I did this, my identity and integrity had new chances to evolve with each new encounter. Mentors and apprentices are partners in an ancient human dance. And one of teaching's great rewards is the daily chance it gives us to get back on the dance floor. It's the dance of the spiraling dance of generations, in which the old empower the young with their experience, and the young empower the old with new life, reweaving the fabric of the human community as they touch and turn. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny, for that experience. I have a moment to talk about our mentors and the gift of teaching and the gift of offering. Let us take a moment now of reflection, of meditation. Let us take a deep breath and think of all that is offered here. Think of all of the gifts. Sitting next to you is a gift. To see all that this room has to offer. To feel it. There is a prayer in the gifts you have. There is a prayer in offering gardening skills. There is a prayer in people skills. There is prayer in organization, in singing, fellowship. There is prayer in children, curiosity, leadership, the gift of laughter, the gifts of empathy, of understanding, the joy of helping. In this room, there is simply the gift of love. We are the answer to our prayers. We are the ones we've been looking for. We are the gift. And while we delight in all that we have to offer, the gifts of joy and curiosity and organization, we also take these times to hold the sorrows that we also bring, for to support each other and to listen to when hearts are heavy is a gift. We think of Taki Bardis, her daughter, Emily, friend of the congregation. She's been diagnosed with cancer, a young woman in her 30s, and it is not looking well for her. Please keep the Bardis family in your thoughts, in your prayers, and hold them through these times. May we remember all of the gifts we have, the gifts of caring, the gifts of love, the gifts of empathy that we share. May we live that prayer in all we do. Blessed be. We, as Unitarian Universalists, we're the people who show up, whether it be at a protest in the street or a visit to a friend. We are those who show up for those who need us, and this includes our own community outside these walls. Donations that are collected now ensure that our community is able to consistently show up for all who are around us. What is collected today will be split with the Central American Medical Outreach, a non-denominational humanitarian organization that brings life-saving medical services, education, and community development to Central America. CAMO provides more than 140,000 life-saving services each year to impoverished people who would otherwise not have access to aid. To these efforts, an average of 150 infants a year go home alive. 150 lives a year saved. We thank you for showing up for this community, for all community. The offering will now be collected and very gratefully received. Please join me in reading in unison the dedication of the offering. Let us be grateful when we are able to give, for many do not have that privilege. Let us be grateful for those who share their gifts with us, for we are enriched by their giving. Let us be grateful even for our needs, so that we may learn from the generosity of others.
This morning we have a reading that comes to us from the words of Merlin in The Once and Future King by T.H. White. The best thing for being sad is to learn something. That is the only thing that never fails. You may grow old and trembling in your anatomies. You may lie awake at night listening to the disorder of your veins. You may miss your only love. You may see the world about you devastated by evil lunatics. or know your honor trampled in the sewers of baser minds. There is only one thing for it then, to learn. Learn why the world wags and what wags it. That is the only thing which the mind can never exhaust, never alienate, never be tortured by, never fear or distrust, and never dream of regretting. Learning is the thing for you.
Talking a lot about learning today. Lifelong learning. How many of you consider yourselves lifelong learners? Good, good. I think it's really interesting because when I think of this concept of lifelong learning, I think of my son who just started his freshman year of high school. And if I tell him that you're going to be learning for the rest of your life, he's going to go, "Oh my God, no. Oh, I have to do this all my life." Because for him, right, it's not learning that he's worried about. It's education, right? That's the issue, right? It's the education. And for him, it's hard because those two terms are kind of synonymous. But what he's dealing with, this education, is very transactional. Why does he have to go to school? Well, you have to go to school so you can go to college. Oh, why do I have to go to college? So that you can get a job. Oh, why do I have to get a job? Why do you have to get a job? Because I want you out of my house. Because you have to survive. Learning is so often considered transactional. You learn a skill and you're done. Once you get that skill, you're done learning. So this is my question. If we do education here, what's the skill we're imparting? What are we teaching? Now, when I ask a lot of people, what they love about you, U-R-E, the second answer they give, the first is owl. All right, everybody says owl. And yes, owl is awesome. But one of the answers I almost always get second is, I want my kid to learn about all of the different religions that are out there so they can make an informed decision. Does that sound familiar to anyone, right? Yeah? I think it's the weirdest thing that you're saying, I want my kid to learn about all the other religions so they can leave this church. But I get what you're saying. You're saying, I want them to be informed about the depth and breadth of theology. I want them to have that skill, right? But that's not our role. That's not our education, right? It isn't just to educate them about the horrors of Catholicism. And by the way, Catholicism's not that bad ritualistically. Politically, we have some issues, but we're not going to talk about that. And maybe this whole idea of imparting this skill, this transactional idea of education, is why Jenni is consistently reminding me that it's religious exploration, not education, right? Because we don't want to just impart facts and skills. We don't want to make this transactional. This is something more. While we were talking about building up this service, Jenni sent me a video because this is how people share information now. She sent me a video of Parker Palmer. Are y'all familiar with Parker Palmer? Great modern day theologian, great spiritualist. And it's a really quick little 8-minute video basically talking about discovering the soul, really light stuff. Trying to differentiate the soul. And he talks about the 3 a.m. moment where you kind of realize that you are a being in the universe, right? This kind of waking up with that. And that how you are not your skills. It's a really hard concept to get across, how you are not your skills, that there is something deeper to you. And he's like, you can call it the soul, you can call it the overmind, you could call it the divine spark, doesn't matter. But it's something that is uniquely you, that is not your skills. And I don't know about you, but I have a hard time separating myself from my skills. How many of you, when you go to identify yourself, say, I am a, or I am really good at, right? I am a really good cook. Oh, that's a skill. My identity is not a cook. How many of you do that, right? I am a professional librarian, right? You know, which means I know everything, right? You know, I'm really good with kids. Even these heart skills are still skills. How do we differentiate the skills from the self? And Palmer has this beautiful and terrifying metaphor for the differentiating between skills and differentiating between the self. And he talks about the skill to wield a knife. And having the skill to wield a knife, practicing being able to wield a knife, can yield the results where you could kill someone very quickly. And to have the skill in wielding a knife could make you a surgeon that could save somebody's life. Same skill set, but what is different is how the hand is moved, the heart work, the reason behind moving that skill. And I like to think of that as the difference of the work of the hand, the work of the skills, versus the work of the heart. Those two sets are very much the difference between life and death, how the heart lays. Right, and so I want to talk about these skills, right? We had some wonderful skills here, like singing, which are the learned skills, and they bring something beautiful, right? And I love that we have skills like empathy in this pile. I love that we have skills just like love in and of itself. I love to see that some of you can recognize the importance of that heart work. That is absolutely beautiful because that is what we do here. We all have these different skills that we've picked up over our lives. We all have beautiful, sharp moments and ways of the hand that we can share with each other. But the real education here, the real learning, is focused on that deeper self, the heart work. And that sharing of the heart, learning of the heart, that is what is meant when we hear the congregation is the curriculum. That is what we want to teach and impart to everyone. That is not just the learning that happens in those classrooms. That learning happens here in this room. That learning happens during coffee hour. It happens during the gardening days. And that learning happens in those small connections when we mentor and when we are learners. We are the lesson. Isn't that why you're here? Aren't you here because you want to talk about that heart? Aren't you wanting to be your authentic self? Don't you want to come in, put down all of those skills, all of those things that have been laid upon you by the world around you and say, this is me, and I am worth knowing. And to see every other person, every other being that walks in the store and says, you are worth knowing. I don't need to see your skills. I just need to see you. Isn't that what you want for yourself? Isn't that what you want for the next generation? Isn't that what you want for this world? As I've been saying, Jenny's been really wonderful at reminding me about my terminology, right? Religious education, religious exploration, but this idea of this sharing of the heart, of making that all of what we are about, that is faith development. Always working on that connection to each other and the connection to self. Always imparting that in all of our interactions, in all of our volunteering, in the work with the kids, in the work with each other. Even, Chris, you working in the booth. It's a gift. It's heart work. Religious exploration, this is faith development. We are strengthening our identity as Unitarian Universalists by working to understand the work of the heart over the work of the hand. We grow. We grow ourselves by growing our connections. And that is why we do this work in community. That is why we cannot do this work alone. And that's faith development, friends. That's lifelong learning. This doesn't end. This process of self-revelation and relational depth does not end once we graduate from 12th grade. Does not end when we bridge. Does not end when we graduate college, and it certainly doesn't end at 11:01 on Sunday. This is lifelong learning. This is what we participate in every day. Go out. Be the best selves you can be, for that is truly what this world needs. Let us rejoice and sing, my friends. Nothing better to show how wonderful you are than singing out loud, joyfully, "This Little Light of Mine." Please rise in body or spirit. So before the benediction, just a reminder that you all have opportunities to be those mentors we talk about still. There are still some spots in RE that would love to have your gifts of the heart. One of the things I want to remind you all, we talked about that you don't need skills. All you need is the heart. That's what we're learning about. The great thing is if you don't have any skills, if you're young, right? You haven't learned a whole lot, you're nothing but heart, friends. You, as someone who's all heart, have a lot to teach. If you want to learn more about how to do this work, Volunteer and let the kids show you. Go out and be the best you can, my friends. And that doesn't mean you have to have the skills to pay the bills. All that means is we want you. Your brokenness, your laughter, your simplicity. You, as you are enough. May it be so.